Hey everybody, Donnie B, Learn Pro Recording. Welcome in today, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, today I want to talk to you about a couple of the bonuses that are in the Audio Engineering 101 course, which I'll put a link right here. You guys can go check out the course. Dude, the course is awesome. It just came out last week. A lot of people have already started going through it, and man, the reviews are crazy. Everybody seems to love it. And the price? Everybody says I should charge more, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here to help you grow and help you become and help you be better. Okay, so that's kind of why I'm doing this. It's not a lot of money. It is, there's a ton of stuff in it though. You guys are going to really get a lot of stuff out of it. So today I want to teach you and talk to you about two things that are in the program, which are bonuses that you get with the program. One is a mix prep checklist and the other is a master prep checklist. So after you get your mix done, you're ready to send it off to mastering. It's just a little checklist of what you should look out for and make sure you have in place before you send it to your mastering guy. Okay, the mix prep checklist is basically you getting ready to mix. Not necessarily about mixing, but getting ready to mix, which is really important because if you're organized and things look good and things are working the way that you like them to work, it's going to be a lot easier and a lot more efficient for you to do your actual mixing. Okay, so get into the habit, man, of having these things ready to go, and every time you can even make templates and save those templates as your mix template. Okay, a lot like I do, a lot of the guys that I work with here do. We all have our templates that we like to use. So get in the habit of doing that, and it's going to make you a lot more. It's going to make you a lot faster, more efficient. So hey, get ready for that. Also, I'm going to put a link down below where you can go check out the course. Please check out the course. And also, I'm going to make I'm going to make the prep checklist, both mixing and mastering, as a download. So go right now, click down below, get that download. There's simple PDFs, real easy to have. You can keep them, you can look at them, you can print them out, whatever you need to do with them. Change them even if you like. It's entirely up to you. So hey, let's get mixing. Let me show you how some of this stuff works. I'm going to head over to the computer right now and show you some of this stuff works. Have a great week, ladies and gentlemen. We'll talk to you on the blog post. My name is Donnie B, and I am out of here. Peace. What's up, everybody? Donnie B, Learn Pro Recording. Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I want to show you some cool stuff, man. This is basically a Pro Tools session. This will work with any DAW. I just happen to be using Pro Tools today. So, what we're talking about today is what we call a mix prep. Getting ready to mix. This isn't about mixing. This is about getting ready to mix. So, a couple of scenarios, all right? Let's do scenario one. What you're looking at on the screen is scenario one. The client has sent me a Pro Tools session, okay? Things are not really set up the way that I like it to begin to mix, arranging the tracks and arranging color coding and creating my auxiliary tracks and my subgroups and things like that. None of this is done. This file actually came from the client. Okay, this is how it works sometimes. Every once in a while, the client may be working on something other than Pro Tools, and they just send you WAV files. I'll show you that one right now. Hang on. So this is what my session would look like if I got just the WAV files from the client. I would just import WAV files from the folder that the client sent me and just bring them into Pro Tools. Hopefully the client has either committed the files or consolidated the files so that all of this air in the beginning is there, if that makes sense. Because otherwise, if I just have this file, if I just have this and I import it, it's going to show up at bar 1, beat 1. Like everything else. Okay, so that's kind of what happens in that arena, is if the files are not consolidated or not committed, like these are all just one file, then they just show up at bar 1, beat 1, and that's not cool. And then we'd have to try to figure out where they go. I honestly wouldn't take the time to do that. I would just not do it. I would actually send the session back. So there's a couple of different scenarios, okay? So let's get into the mix prep checklist, and I'll show you what we actually do, how I actually do it, how I actually set things up, okay? Okay, so in this scenario, this is scenario number one where the client has sent me a Pro Tool session. Okay, so I don't really have to create the session. But if they just sent you just the WAV files, you might have to create a session. Some of us like to work in templates where we keep it set up this, real similar all the time, where our auxiliary track's already made. Maybe our reverb tracks for our snares are already there. Maybe our subgroup auxiliary is there, like our submaster for our drums or our guitars, whatever. We may start in a template. That's totally fine. The first thing that I'm going to do is make sure that my tracks are labeled. As you can see over here on the side, if I go to the mix window, you see down at the bottom down here, they're all labeled. So it's probably pretty easy to figure out. I got a kick and a snare and a hat. Bass. I want to put bass right after my drums. Okay, so let's go right after the room. I like to have all my drums together. Then I like to have all my guitars together. So it looks like I've got an organ here. Let me move that over here, get it out of the way. I want my vocals last, so I'll put my vocals last. So this is kind of the way that I like things organized. I like my drums, then my bass, then my guitars, then my keyboards or pads or other ear candy, and then my vocals. This is how I like my session set up. Okay, so I can kind of see that some edits have been done. I can go in and check these edits if I need to. That's going to be something I do later on. I'm not that concerned about that right now. I'm just setting my mix up. So what I want to do now is I want to create I'm going to take all my drum tracks, and I'm going to create a group, and I'm going to call that group drums. Okay? And I can set the attributes for my group, whether I'm just following the globals. I kind of don't like my volumes on. I just want like solos, mutes, automation, that kind of stuff to follow. So I'm just going to follow that, create a group out of that. While I have my group selected, I'm going to change the color of my group. I'm going to make all my drums purple. Look, there's no standard to color coding. It's all what you want. You can make them yellow, blue. Nobody cares. Nobody really cares. This is just for you. Bass, I don't really need to color code my bass. I also don't need to put it in a group because there's only one. Guitars, I've got 4 guitars. What I might do too is keep my rhythm and lead guitar together and then have my solos together. So let's do that. Let's just we'll make a group out of the guitars. We can call it guitar group, whatever you want. Again, my globals I set without the volume, so I'll create that. Again, while I've got them selected, I will change the color to whatever. Okay, just a different color, just so I can at a glance see where I'm at. My organ is only one, so I'll just change the color of that to something different. Okay, and then of course vocals, I can change the color of that to something completely different. So at a glance, I can kind of see where they're at and what we're doing. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is create a master fader. All right, so let's just create a new fader, a stereo master fader. We'll just call it master. Okay, a master fader in a strictly in the box session, whether it's Pro Tools, Logic, whatever. Having a master fader there is going to come in handy, and I'll explain why in a bit. Okay, so then you can create your master fader. What I like to do with my master fader when I create it is add an equalizer and a compressor, just because I might want to add a little bit of sparkle to it while I'm working on it. I'm just going to put it on there right now. I'm not even going to do anything with it. Just going to insert it and have it there. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is start listening to the song. Now that we kind of got things organized, we kind of got things where they belong. What I might do too is add a subgroup to my drums. I'll go to my last channel and add a. Let me just do this. I'll just go to my last channel. I've got everything selected, so I'll hold Shift and Option, go to the last one and go New Track. I'm going to create an auxiliary type, and I'm going to call it Drum Sub, because it's a subgroup that's going to go to the master, okay? So now all the outputs, notice all the outputs of the drums have turned to drum sub. The input to my drum sub is now drum sub, and right now that's going out to the master. The first thing I like to do is solo safe that sub, so I don't have to worry about solos. That way, if I solo my drums, that's still going to play through my subgroup. Okay, later on during the mix, we might add a compressor and EQ to the overall drum mix. Okay, you can do the same with your guitars and the same with your vocals if you have a lot. I honestly don't have that many guitars to send to a subgroup, so I'm just not even going to bother with that. Okay, so now what we do is we kind of just start listening to the song. Okay, that's what we would do, is start listening to the song. While we're listening to the song, we might drop markers. Drop one here, it says intro. So we kind of know where parts are in the song. When we get to the verse and the chorus, we might drop one that says verse, might drop another one that says chorus, whatever. That just kind of helps you navigate around the song after you get things like organized the way that you like it, okay? So now, while we're listening, you drop in markers, you're setting basic levels. So you can, if you like working in the mixer page, you can work there. I don't mind working in the edit page. It doesn't bother me. So while we're listening, you can start setting levels. You can say, oh, the hi-hat's like way too loud, man. Let's bring that down. The rack toms are here. The rack tom and floor tom, they might need to be panned. So you do your panning, do your levels just while you're listening. The overhead left and overhead right, we might want to pan left and right. If you want to get crazy, you can actually group these two together so the volumes work together. It's fine. You might be adding a little bit of stuff to, like, I know we're going to add like a reverb to the snare, so we might do that. The bass might be too loud, so bring that down. What we're doing is we're just setting levels, man. That's all we're going to be doing. We might want to pan the guitars just a little bit, not 100% like that. The solos haven't come on yet, but we'll need to work on those a little bit. The organ's too loud, so let's bring that down. And then the vocals, you know, there you go. So it's kind of already sounded halfway decent, right? So while you're doing that, while you're actually listening and setting markers, you can start setting levels. And now you're ready to begin mixing. So now you can unbypass or start working on the master fader, maybe add a little bit of sparkle to the top on that just to make it, don't make big moves. This is called top-down mixing. You know, I might want to bring out just a little bit of the 200 just because it's always wonky and, you know, too much. You know, whatever, however you like to work. And then maybe add a little bit of compression to it just so it feels a little bit better. You know what I mean? Just add a little bit of makeup gain just so it feels a little bit better while you're working on it. Of course, you're going to remove these when you send this off to mastering. So now you are just ready to mix. You got things organized, you got things set up, you can start working on some stuff. Now it's time to start. Get busy. Let's work on your mix. Have a great time. We'll talk to you next time. This is Donnie B, and I am out. Okay, so we have our mix. All good. The client loves everything. You love everything. It sounds awesome. It's time to send your tracks. It's time to send the song off to mastering. So here's the deal, man. If you have mixed the song, you should not master it. Someone else should be mastering it. Look, if it's just a demo, it's, you know, I hate to discount it like that, saying just a demo, because some demos are awesome. But I'm just saying that sometimes you might want to have someone else master it. For one thing, it's a second set of ears that might catch something that you haven't caught because you've been listening to the song for all this time and that kind of thing. The client loves the song. You love the song. So what you want to do now is you want to remove everything from the master fader, okay, which I've already done. I've also inserted just a basic meter on my master fader because I want to make sure that I meter -6 to -12 in that range somewhere. So if we're listening to the song, let's get around here by the solo guitar. If we're listening to the song, see, notice I'm metering it like, you know, between 6 and 12. That's kind of where my mastering guy likes to have the levels. That gives him room to work. That way, if he's got to boost a frequency or he's got to boost something, it's not going to peak because it's not sitting right at 0. Look, I know that the consensus today is to mix as loud as possible. So most mix guys are mixing at 0 dB, but my mastering guy likes a little bit of extra room. I like what my mastering guy does to my mixes. I've been using the same mastering guy for quite a while, and I don't mind. So I do leave him at least -6, at least -6 to -12, okay? So then what we're going to do is we're going to bounce the track just the way it is. In order to bounce the track, you just select the longest track, okay? The whole track and nothing but the track. So there you go. Okay, so let's just select the whole song. And then what we're going to do is just option Apple B, and you're going to give it a name. You're going to make it, you know, let's make what we've been working in is 24-bit 48K. So we're going to leave it as a WAV file, 24-bit 48K. We're going to give it the name, send it off to mastering. We're going to create the 2-track, and then we're just going to send the mastering engineer a 2-track. Dude, one of the worst things you can do is send the mastering guy your session. That gives him way too much stuff to do. First of all, your mastering guy doesn't really want to see a session. Some mastering engineers might want to have stems, which might be the stems are like all the drums together, all the guitars together, all the vocals together on one track, that kind of thing. Some mastering engineers like that, but I honestly don't even like sending that stuff to my mastering guy. I send my mastering guy a 2-track. I don't want him to have too much. I don't want to give him too much of an ability to change my mix, if that makes any sense. Okay, so I don't do that. I do bounce my mix with the specs that my mastering engineer is looking for. Again, like I said, are whatever bit depth and sample rate I'm working on. In this case, it's 24-bit 48K. Also, he wants it as a WAV file and a 2-track, a left and an interleave 2-track. So that's how my mastering guy likes it. You can check with the mastering person that you're using, the mastering engineer that you're going to be working with, and ask them exactly how they like things. Make sure your metadata is in order. So because your mastering guy is going to be adding the metadata. Dude, the metadata is almost as important as the sonic value and the sound of the song itself. Metadata is like who wrote the song, who sang it, who mixed it. You can even leave what they call mastering notes, which is something like what microphone did you use on the vocals, what preamp did you use, whatever you feel is important that you might want other people to know about, 250 years from now. That's what metadata is. Put it in there. Your mastering guy is also going to add the ISRC codes and the UPN codes, or whatever the code it needs to be counted when it gets sold and when it gets streamed. So that's kind of important stuff too. So to have the metadata in order, these are things you could put as a text file and save with send it with the folder or whatever with the 2-track file. So this is what it had all done. And once it sounds great in the car, you've bounced it, you've made sure that it's in the specs for your mastering engineer, you send it off to your mastering, and boom, your song is done. Ladies and gentlemen, you have just finished the project. Move on to the next one. Go make that money. Keep working. Keep having a good time. Again, my name is Donnie B, and I am out. Peace.